thing we call Egushie. You know the stuff that you find in palava sauce that's made from those ground up melon seeds. It's actually good, but really good for your health. In fact, it's very, very good for your love life, for your libido, for your physical health, as far as your romantic pursuits are concerned. But that's exactly what Dr. Sharita tells me. And she's got something that she says is called the Egushie Bedroom Broth. That's like, like a soup, like a light soup with tomatoes in toast. It seems that a lot of the things that we've been eating on a daily basis are really good for our sexual and reproductive health. Maybe that's why our population, just keeps growing and growing, growing and growing. But every once in a while, you want to know, so you can put it to good use. Good morning, Dr. Sharita. How are you doing?
Good day.
Have you been eating, this bedroom broth yourself?
No, this will be my first time.
The first time?
This is Nana Bafor's recipe.
Nana Bafor's recipe?
It's actually his grandmother's recipe that she used to make for his grandmother.
Wait, he didn't come up with the bedroom broth by himself?
No, his grandfather, I want him to tell a story, but actually his grandfather had 79 children, 12 wives.
What?
So this is something that his grandmother used to make for his grandfather.
The population police are going to come and arrest us all for even saying this thing.
I couldn't believe it. 12 women,
12 wives, 79, 80 children. He used to eat a lot of Egushie.
Yes,
okay,
and greens.
And greens. And you say it doesn't matter what greens they are. It could be like contomé leaves, it could be potato leaves, bitter leaf, cassava leaf, colored greens, moringa. As long as it's green, it's fine.
Yeah, dark leafy. The darker it is, the better.
Explain this to me.
Well, you have the chlorophyll. That's the green or the
what
pigment.
makes it green? Yeah,
that's what makes it green. Yeah. The chlorophyll, it imitates. It looks like the cells of our blood. So it helps to cleanse. It helps to build, and it also helps to deodorize the body as well. It also helps with the circulation. So the greens, and then as far as the chlorophyll, having good clean blood is really good for very important for sexual health. Also, it's very high in a lot of zinc.
Zinc?
It's high in a lot of vitamins and minerals. The greens
like zinc, like, zing.
Yeah, zinc.
Zinc, it gives you like that.
Yeah,
zing.
Yeah, it boosts the zinc is really good for boosting the immune system, and it's also good for raising the testosterone levels in the body, in the prostate gland when it's too low.
You know what people are asking? Pakujo Hartman wants to know if you have a cookbook. They want like a whole book.
Oh, we're working on it.
For vegetarians.
Yes, we are working on the vegan
put the recipe here for us. I don't know what you want me to say it out, or you want me to type it out, but I'll share the recipe with you. Okay, it's really easy. All you have to do is you have to have 2 cups of Egushie, about 4 cloves of garlic, some greens. It could be contomé, it could be potato leaf, any kind of leaf, cassava leaf, any type of leaf. Just make sure it's nice and green and leafy. And then, of course, you need a lot of paposhito. And well, that has got something in it as well. Then you need about 2 onions, red onions, about 3 tomatoes in toast, small in toast, and not too much. Coconut milk. Sharita keeps telling me it's good for baldness. I keep asking her, should I rub it on my head? Will my dreadlocks come? And a little bit of curry powder. And this thing about zinc, run it by me again. Why is zinc so important?
Well, zinc is something that's highly used in our sexual organs for men and women. And so when the zinc is low, it causes us to, it takes down the immunity for the whole system, not just the sexual organs, but for the whole system. So the zinc is very important to keep our resistance up, to fight diseases. So when we have the zinc in high levels in our reproductive areas, we're able to fight off a lot of different diseases like prostate cancer and prostate enlargement, fibroids, vaginal dryness, things like that.
Incredible. You can get all this if you eat lots of leafy greens.
A lot of leafy greens.
The darker the greener, the better.
The darker the green.
And the more the merrier.
The more the merrier. The more the merrier. And trust me, the merrier.
Valentine's Day is coming up. And I'm not sure if we should really take on all the Planned Parenthood NGOs in Ghana by promoting the sort of food that people who have 12 wives and 80 children had their grandmothers cook for their grandfathers.
And disease free.
And disease-free.
These days they have all these different vaccines that's coming up. So they did it with food. They built their immune systems. That was their prophylactic. So it was in their foods.
Now, I'm reading here that the Harvard study, that's Harvard University, the famous Harvard University,
yes,
Harvard Medical School, Harvard Law School. I suppose they don't mess around with their research. Now, they did their research and they found out that men who ate 2 servings of tomato daily lowered their risk of prostate cancer by an astonishing 35%. And that's because tomatoes contain something called lycopene that is in toast. Maybe next time you see a tomato, you won't call him into again, or tomato or tomato. You say, hey, lyco, give me some lyco. Tell me about lycopene, Sharita.
Lycopene is something that's used, it's an antioxidant, and it's something else that's also good for building up the immune system and fighting off any viruses. It's also good for osteoporosis or any type of bone disease as well. So lycopene is something that it also helps with the circulation of the blood. And if you notice, a lot of things that we talk about when it comes down to sexual health, circulation of the blood and clean blood is very, very important. We can't reiterate that enough.
Okay. And of course, the way you look is also very, very important, to how you are perceived. So I suppose, if you suffer from, God is my barber, and you want to do something about it, according to Sharita, she says it's coconut milk. It's like in coconut milk, yeah? So what should I do with it?
The coconut milk, and actually the coconut milk is actually the water.
Should I just bang my head on the coconut tree? I mean, like what?
No, you should take it, open it up, and drink it, like 3 a day. For
3 a
2 weeks. For 2 weeks. And any area where there's still some fuzz. See, some areas you cannot
my dreadlocks will come more than Bob Marley.
Maybe. Let me see. Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible?
It's possible.
You think I can spot a head of dreads? Do you think that's what Rita gave Bob? Because I saw photographs of Bob Marley and Rita Marley when they were young and married, and Bob Marley was wearing a suit with a tie. He looked like Barack Obama, as a matter of fact. I mean, with a short haircut.
Pictures,
and he was married to Rita, and
happy birthday, Bob.
Yeah, and on their website, BobMarley.com, he says Rita was the one who used to keep the girls out of his changing room. But I think she also, put in some coconut juice in the changing room, so that's how his dreadlocks came out.
Right. Well, maybe that's the secret, because there's plenty of coconut in Jamaica.
That's the secret. Okay, what's the secret of garlic, except for bad breath?
The garlic, it has something in there that's good for, that's called allicin. It's good for circulation again. It's also good for clotting. So if a woman is having heavy bleeding during her menses, or just heavy bleeding, internal bleeding, the allicin helps to clot the blood. But it's something, again, like I said, it helps to raise the immune system. It helps with the circulation. And even though garlic is, I have a friend whose father told him that it was a secret to eat garlic every day.
For how long?
Every day. And he said you will be more than a man in the bedroom.
But how much? How long do you have to eat garlic? How much in order to see some kind of change?
Oh, after about a week. If you're eating raw garlic, you get a quick result. You start feeling your blood.
If you eat raw garlic, all your friends are going to run away. Not just your lovers.
Well, your friends are your real friends. Your enemies might run away. That's where you want to go.
Well, all the vampires supposedly run away.
And your woman will stop complaining once she's satisfied. It's like, oh, forget about the garlic, baby. It's okay.
Okay, now I'm surprised to hear that the World Health Organization supports onions as a way to treat loss of appetite. Sabola is what we call it, if you're living in around Accra. The humble Sabola onion. Or Wanyan. I had a friend called Wanyan when I was growing up. Yeah, Wanyan. That's because he had this onion haircut. He said he had like a bit of dreadlocks there.
And he was okay with that?
Oh, he was cool with it.
Oh, okay. All right. To each his own.
Those were the crazy days, New Jack Swing and stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, people had all kinds of really
the 80s.
Sculpted, haircuts. Yeah.
The 80s, a lot of confusion in fashion.
Onion is good for appetite?
Yeah, to help increase the appetite.
Onion increases the appetite?
Yeah,
that's why the kinky sellers put it in next to the pepper, so you buy more. When you eat the onion, then your appetite comes, and you eat more, you buy more, you eat more.
Oh, maybe that's it, because you do keep having the craving for it afterwards, you do. Yeah. But the onion, actually, my daughter had been dealing with a little malaria this week, and, malaria kind of takes away your appetite. So we made an onion soup. My youngest daughter, she said, Mommy, make some onion soup. And then, I said, okay, we can do that. But I wasn't moving fast enough. So the youngest one went and made some onion soup. She made some onion soup.
That's like tomato soup, but instead of tomato, use onion.
Right. You just put some onions, and they put like a few seasonings, some curry and things up in there, a little small salt. And that's what she took. She took the onion, and her appetite, it never got to the point where it started to really go away. It was starting to go away. And as soon as we gave her that, And my daughter, this one, the 12-year-old, she has a serious appetite, like a man. You know,
And the ancient Chinese, they actually used onions to treat all kinds of breathing problems, you know, and angina, asthma, breathing difficulties, coughing, so on and so forth. Does one lose any of the effectiveness of the onion if one cooks it, fries it, boils it? In other words, should it be eaten raw?
To get the best effects is best to eat it raw. But if you just cook it lightly, or a lot of times we saute it in our foods or we add it last, you still get some benefits from it. Even with the soup, the allicin actually comes out more. Just like with the tomato, the lycopene comes out more whenever you take it and you cook it. So when we want to use it for the allicin to deal with our blood clotting for heavy bleeding, then you would take it and cook it.
Okay, I'm gonna skip the paposhito, the hot pepper, and go to curry powder so we can come to the hotness. Save the hotness for the lastness. So curry, is there like any health benefit to eating curry?
Curry is very good for digestion. It's really good again for the blood. It's good for arthritis. Really, really good for joint problems. So if you're having like that stiffness in your joints, especially a lot of times we get up in the morning, we feel like we can't move. It takes us a while to get our blood flowing. If you have the turmeric, actually it's a lot of different ingredients in the curry. We have turmeric, garlic, I think anise, pepper. You have the list there, but all those different things help. Is
the Nabafo's grandmother's secret recipe, eh?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Well, not no more.
hot pepper. Hot pepper. I mean, what I'm reading about hot pepper is just totally mind blowing. I never thought that pepper had like any other benefit aside of its spicy taste. So I didn't know it was just all about the spice. But I'm reading here that it's got calcium, iron, potassium, vitamin A, C, B complex, vitamin G. I've never even heard about vitamin G. Magnesium, phosphorus, and sulfur. It's good for your heart circulation, good for preventing heart attacks and strokes, helps maintain vitality. Oh yeah, you'd be very vital if you eat a lot of pepper.
Right. Anything is good for the heart. It's
good for toothache. Hey, kaka normalizes blood pressure, prevents arthritis. It's good for swelling and inflammation. Heals stomach ulcer. Now that's a surprising one. Most people will tell you that if you have a stomach ulcer, don't eat pepper.
That's right. That's what they tell you. But it's the type of pepper that you use. The cayenne pepper, the red one, the one that looks like a little moon. That's the one that you use for the ulcers. You don't use black pepper. The black pepper, you don't use that one. But the cayenne pepper and the shito pepper that we're using today, that one is okay. And the funny thing about it, people are always scared, but once I get them to try it, they're so surprised. I just get them to take some water, put a teaspoon of the cayenne pepper, and then they drink it, maybe about a cup. And at first it goes down and it's burning and it's fire. It's like, oh my God, what do you do to me? And then after about 5 minutes, they just all of a sudden just cool out. They don't feel any pain. It just helps to, because the cayenne pepper, it has like a numbing effect. So after a while, it helps to cool down the ulcer, and then it takes away the inflammation. So after a period of time of about maybe 2 weeks, you can start to see that you won't have any flare-ups, from the ulcers. And
the red pepper is also good for digestion. It's good for your kidneys, good for your spleen and liver, and promotes the flow of saliva. Now, how does additional saliva flow make one attractive to the opposite sex?
Well, we don't want additional. We just said when we're dried out. we don't want to look like a dog with rabies. No, we don't want to do that.
Now, there's this thing here that I've never heard before. What is capsaicin? Capsaicin. And apparently it's also in pepper. Is it in all pepper?
It's in all peppers. Or anything that even has heat, even ginger. It's just the heat.
The thing that makes it taste hot.
It gives the heat.
The chemical substance is called capsaicin.
And in some peppers it's stronger than others. Like you have the average pepper we use, like the African bird, they measure it in heat units. So we're dealing with about 90,000 heat units. When you get to like the Scotch bonnet, which is more like the shito that we have, we're getting close to 180, 200,000 heat units. So the Scotch bonnet is supposed to be the hotter the better. The better results. Yes.
Okay, now you see this is what knowledge and science does. You are what you eat. So if you've ever wondered why anytime you eat really hot pepper, whether it's paposhito or any kind of red pepper, you still want to eat more, it's because it contains capsaicin, and that is really important in releasing endorphins. And endorphins are the things that our brain releases, the chemical that our brain releases that actually give us, the feeling of good. So if you're feeling good, means you are producing a lot of endorphins. And there's something in pepper called capsaicin, and when you eat it, it makes you feel good. Literally, that's why when you start eating it, it's hard to stop. I mean, it's like burning you and you're sweating and you still want to like eat more and more and more and more. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why they say Ghana, we're Africa's friendliest people, because all our food is loaded
with spice,
with pepper and spice. Okay, so this is the secret recipe. It's called the Egushie Bedroom Broth. You must eat it with great care and caution, because Nana Bafo's grandmother used to cook it for his grandfather, and his grandfather is on record as having had 12 wives and 80 children. Now, that's a lot of school fees, a lot of health insurance, that's a lot of accommodation, even your water bill, and you need like a VIP bus or two. I mean, just to take your family to the beach or to visit the relatives.
It's a whole
12
nation.
wives and 80 children, one man. And Nana Bafo said it was all because of the Egushie bedroom broth, the bedroom soup with tomatoes. And well, it's a secret recipe, but now it's yours. It's got Egushie garlic, it's got some greens, and Sharita tells me that it doesn't matter what greens you put in it. It could be, bitter leaves, it could be cassava leaf, potato leaf, contombe leaf, as long as it's, leafy and green. You can use spinach. You can use spinach if you want spinach. You can use moringa, you can use collard greens. Just make sure that there's a lot of greens, and that's 500 grams, half a kilo of greenery, and that's a lot of greens. And when you eat 500 grams, you know that, hey, I've eaten a lot of green stuff. You even check in the mirror to see if you're turning green. 2 red onions, a lot of paposhito, at least 6. And just 3 tomatoes, 3 cups of coconut milk, and it's the young coconuts, and not the old ones, not the sweet ones, the really, really green, fresh ones, and 1 tablespoonful of curry powder. And well, Nana Bafu has been cooking it up. Stir it up. He's been stirring it up. I think that's what Rita has been feeding to Bob when he was around.